Good morning. This is Carrie Sparks, your Arizona Title Gal with Pioneer Title. I can reach at 602-715-5704. I just want to welcome everyone to watching this morning. I have a really awesome guest that's never done Facebook Live with me before that I love working with John over at Land and Home. And he told me about a product that he has available to him through his company. And it was very intriguing. So we talked about putting together a series on this. So over the course of the month of September, you're going to hear a little bit more about a program that's called Trio. I don't think that there's much like it on the marketplace. So sit down for a few minutes and join us and learn about something that could, as you're a realtor, could really help some of the people that you've been working with trying to get into homes. And if you're someone who is interested in going from being a renter to being a homeowner, this one's for you. So there's some pieces that we're going to go over with obstacles and where it's from, why it was created, and all that kind of stuff over the next month. But John, could you give a little bit about you, your licensing information, and all that kind of good stuff? And so maybe give even your phone number at the beginning here, so just in case somebody wants to jot it down, we will give it all at the end as well. So John, say a little bit about you.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for that great introduction. So I'm John Preston. I'm with Land Home Financial Services. My NMLS number is 1436926. Been in lending for a number of years. Was a broker here in Arizona before the big event, the big crash, but prior to that in California as well. Had different licenses in our industry. So I've worn a bunch of hats. I've been a licensed agent, military, as well as a licensed appraiser, underwriter. So this program kind of fell into my lap when I was looking for a new company, Land Home. It's one of the probably 3 or 4 reasons I came to the company was because they had a proprietary program for what amounts to a lease purchase situation to help people that are just missed with the system today. So the purpose of these is to kind of set the stage today, to kind of give some background on what we're doing, and kind of who, what, and why would you consider this as an option, especially if you're an agent today trying to make sense in the current, the COVID environment and everything else going on. Could this be a tool? It's a very valuable tool, and it's one that has to be understood. And for the right situation, it's a perfect fit.
So John, can you say a little bit about, who is this product? Who is this Trio? What is this Trio product? And just kind of explain maybe where they're out of and kind of
Sure.
where it came all together.
Trio is about a 20-year-old company. They've been at this. They're a nonprofit. They're based out of the Seattle, Washington area. They're active in 6 states right now completely. They're developing 10 more states. Their mission as a nonprofit was to be a kind of a housing advocacy organization, but they worked, I guess, with people that have been marginalized and or kind of excluded from the marketplace directly by the lending community. So they're basically looking to offer kind of a contemporary option to help assist customers in the pursuit of owning a home. A little different as we get into some of the mechanics of why it makes sense and what's different about it. But basically, it's going to put a person in a position to own a home potentially down the road, but more importantly, they become part of the real estate economy today. And that's kind of the situation that's a little different.
So what exactly do they do? I love the nonprofit part of it, but as a company, what do they do?
Trio basically matches a customer. Say you got a customer looking to buy a home right now, lending community can't fit. They're going to basically take their proprietary lease purchase program and structure a relationship with this client. Unlike a lender who's got a short time to close a loan, basically they've got 2 to 3 years as you work through this process to become a full home buyer. So what they do is Trio had negotiated with FHA, with HUD directly on a proprietary process where they could use FHA financing as the bedrock for their program. So then, of course, once they've got HUD to say yes, HUD doesn't make loans. So that's why Land Home became their lending partner. So what happens is they're going to put in place an FHA loan as part of this process. So one limiting factor is, yeah, we work with FHA financing, which means you're working with about a $340,000 or so purchase price in round numbers. Now, basically, by setting up this new path of home ownership that is affordable, and we'll go through that in more detail later on, it's realistic, and it's just a sustainable process. In other words, the customer can come into the process, become part of the TRIO program, and work their way through to full home ownership. And it's a very fluid process. At the big front end, they're working with TRIO, and at the back end, they'll end up working with Land Home Financial in this case.
So can you talk to a little bit of the different barriers that someone, typically is encountering when it comes to home ownership, or what are the things that are they're putting in place, or something's being put in place to not get them to that place of becoming a homeowner?
Well, typically when you go to buy a home, you look, eventually we're going to get into serious discussions with your lender about credit, income, and assets to close. There's just no way around that process. Now, especially in the COVID world, a lot of what we used to do as lenders has kind of gone away. We've lost certain capabilities. Well, TRIO has maintained there, so really they've got a credit standard. If their credit standard is right now around 580 versus say 620 or higher for lenders. The income situation, lenders, we have certain criteria we have to meet as a lender when it comes to income analysis and how we structure income and how we recognize income. There again, TRIO, it started off as a lease, so they have to understand that the person can afford the payments, but they have time. They have a couple, 3 years to get this customer's income positioned so a lender could accept it as real income. So it's a workaround for someone who's got maybe a self-employed borrower, someone with a new career where they're just not able to document. It's a workaround these people. The last thing is basically cash. All real estate transactions take some kind of cash, whether you're leasing a home, you got to have money up front usually. When you're buying a home, there's down payment, there could be some closing costs, there could be whatever. So, but there again, TRIO has the ability to work with possibly less cash than you would take to buy, but put you still in an ownership situation where the customer's shopping for a house with a realtor in a traditional fashion. They find the house they want to live in, the neighborhood they want to live in, and then TRIO and they partner to make this a transaction that makes sense over the next 2 or 3 years. But they have standards. The same thing that I go through as a lender, TRIO goes through, but they go through differently. They have more breadth.
It sounds like I know a few people probably that could fit into that category that you're talking about, that want to be homeowners, but maybe think that they're just their pieces aren't there falling in line to make it all happen. So what we're going to do over the course, like I mentioned, of the month of September, is do a series of videos with John and have him walk through the process of how does this work, who fits into this as a good option. And maybe if you're a realtor, like I said earlier, out there that has a couple people working through the process of trying to get ready to be a buyer, this could be a very intriguing process for you, that you might be able to find somebody to get into a home sooner versus waiting, in the traditional sense of it. So any closing remarks, John?
Well, kind of, there's always a tease, a little bit of a tease, get you coming in next week. But part of the tease is that when you go through all this, basically at the end of 2 or 3 years, if you've been renting, you've got 2 or 3 years of rent receipts and hope. With TRIO, at the end of 2 or 3 years, you've got the hope you're going to be able to convert to a ownership position, and we'll go through that next one in more detail. But they're going to give you some gifts, and the gift they're going to give you is they're going to share back part of the money you paid in rent, help you with the closing costs when you do the conversion, and there's also equity, because you're really in the housing market today rather than waiting for 2 or 3 years to enter the housing market. So basically, the client is in today, but not fully in. And what TRIO's job is to assist them along the way. And the customer has a partner in TRIO, and their job is to help them achieve the dream of full home ownership at the conversion. That's the tease. We'll go through the detail next time, Carrie, and how we can make this work, and people who attend should take notes on that, because that's the crux of it. I've done enough transactions now to see what works, what doesn't work, but also the process you go through with the customers, from the point of view of the customer and the agent.
You work with more than just this program. So as a lender, you do forward mortgages and can really help anybody get into different loan programs, not just this trio product that we're going to talk about. So do you want to give your contact information and your licensing number one more time?
Sure, Carrie. Yeah. And yeah, Land Home is a 30-year-old company, and our bedrock is FHA, VA, conventional financing. This is an add-on. This is a niche thing. It's very timely today. So my name, John Preston, Land Home Financial in Scottsdale. And the NMLS number is 1436926. And my direct number, my cell phone is 928-273-2248.
I really appreciate your time, and I've enjoyed getting to know you and getting to know the company that you represent better over the last year. So we're proud partners with Land and Home. So I'm Carrie Sparks with Pioneer Title, your Arizona title gal. I always have time to sit down and talk with people about sales, marketing strategies, you name it. I just need to find the value that will be provided to you as an individual realtor or loan officer. So put me to work. I can be reached at 602-715-5704. You can always message me on any of the social media platforms or get a hold of me at carrie.sparks@ptaaz.com. I would love to work with you, and I have plenty of time to do it. So I'm not falling into that busy category. I have a lot of time on my schedule that I can make available to anybody who wants to take a stab at working with me. I appreciate your time, your attention. And of course, John, you're amazing. And we'll be back next Wednesday to do the first really a launch of getting into this program and fine tuning it and getting some questions answered for people who can definitely get a hold of me. And I'll make sure that we get those on tape next week. So have a beautiful day. And I appreciate all of you. Have a, like I said, gorgeous day. Bye-bye.